it's incredible. For an example, I'm going to pick on Stephen right now. I edited Nukekubi, and then when he was signed with Worlds Apart, I noticed a huge jump in his ability in storytelling and his own voice. So when I was editing Worlds Apart, it was so much easier because it was like, wow, all the stuff that he learned from Nukekubi, he put into Worlds Apart, and now we can really get rocking, and you know, you grow as a writer with the editorial process, and it's so important. I mean, sometimes an editor will have to put their foot down and say, no, you're wrong. I actually had to do that with one of my other authors when he tried to insist on a technical thing. And I actually said, on a place that I've actually been in. And he had never been in it. And I actually went, okay, fine. Here's a photo I took of the exact place. Fix the scene. And he went, yes, ma'am. That's all he said. And I said, you can't, this is not up for negotiation. But, you know, when it comes to certain contents, if you're writing about facts, make sure your facts are correct, because some editors won't fact check. Personally, I am notorious for fact checking, because I love doing it. And you don't want somebody to come back to your book and go, wow, you know that piece that you wrote in your book where you know it was in London, England, and I don't understand how person A got to from there, or your character got from A to B that way, because technically it's impossible, and you know what, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and there's no magic either. No Star Trek transporters. So I mean, the editors will catch these things if they're really good and make your storytelling. And you know what? You may end up learning something not only about how to write, but also about the thing that the facts that you're trying to put in your book.
This is just a general rule for good writing. If you're going to write fantasy, you know, swords and horses and so forth, join a group like the SCA, actually put on a suit of armor and fight. If you're going to do a lot of equestrian stuff, either get somebody who actually has worked with horses, or go out and spend a little time at a stable and learn at least the basics. Don't go in thinking that, oh, thieves wear leather, warriors wear plate. Plate is bloody useless armor if you're a foot soldier. Okay, you want chain if you're a foot soldier. If you're a mounted knight, the equivalent of a tank, that's where you want plate.
So, yeah, the facts, you know, check the facts.
I know I drove my editor crazy on the strength of the violin, because there's a lot of Jewish folklore and Eastern European references and everything. So there's a lot of words that aren't in English that are either in Yiddish or Polish or Hebrew scattered throughout it. And she was going insane. Like she just kept sending me email after email saying, it's taking a little bit longer because I'm pretty much learning a new language. Thank you so much.
And Yiddish. It used to be a dead language.
Yeah. Used to be.
Used to
bring
be.
it back.
We have time for one, maybe two more questions. Yes?
I'm just wondering if you could talk a little about your creative process and the job of being a writer. Do you write every day? Do you write from 9 to 5 and treat it like a real job?
Well, that depends. I have 2.5-year-old triplets at home.
Oh my God. That's a horror story unto itself.
So I kind of am a nocturnal writer most of the time when they're sleeping. But that's kind of how Strings of the Violin was written, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. for the first few months of their life, because I was doing the nighttime feeds, so I became nocturnal. And I slept during the day. This one, Bath Salts, I did National Novel Writing Month, if anyone knows what that was. I did that, so I kind of forced myself to write every day, and I got my half of it finished in the month. But I was also doing rehearsals for Fiddler on the Roof, so that therefore we kind of got musical zombies, because I was writing parts of it even on my iPhone just to keep up with my word count and not lose the story and everything in between scenes where I was going from being Seidel in the pogrom to backstage being like, okay, so we're building a cabin in Nunavut to hide from the zombies. Now what do we do? So it was kind of a weird sort of experience for that one. And my next book, which is the sequel to Strings, was kind of written wherever I could find time. I try to get as much writing done as possible. I try to do it every day. Even if it's just a few sentences, it's still a few sentences closer to the end of the book that I don't have to worry about later on. So, baby steps.
I tried to do the same thing. I only have one son. He's 9, thank goodness. That's why I said triplets. Oh my God. There for the grace of God go. So I try to write something every day. If it's not necessarily the next book, in something, a short story, or in my journal, or something or other. I do a lot of editing at home. That goes into it. And I also have a part-time job so I can get out of that house and not go stir crazy. That's the only reason why. But my writing process tends to take place mainly in my head. My husband will often see me walking down the street from the grocery store or whatever with bags, and I'm just like looking like one of her zombies, or whatever. And then I'll walk past the house, and he'll have to go and up to get me, and he'll say, "What were you thinking?" I was just going over the scene in my head about what I have to write, and then he says like, "Okay." Okay. And so then, I keep it in my head and formulate until it's ready to come out on paper. But I hope that I have 2 novels. So the next one in the next one in the Chosen Chronicles is being written. I have another novel which is historical romance, which is going through the editing process right now. So juggling 2 stories in my head hurts. Plus all the other people who I have to edit as well, which is great. But my editing process used to be unless you're in editing. My writing process as well, it used to be a 9 to 5 type of thing. I tend to write when my son is in school and when my husband is at work, because when they come home, it's mommy, 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 and I want to spend time with you, wife, and the son's asleep. Let's go have some fun. And it's like, so I don't get to write nocturnally anymore because I'm busy.
Well, it's good to be busy nocturnally.
Yes.
I tend to, I've been devoting a lot of time to my writing for the last little while because my knee shot and I couldn't do another National Lifeguards research. But I find myself split between writing and promotion. And at the moment, promotion is taking a lot of time away from the writing that I'd like to be doing. I have a novel on the go, and I have a short story that is on the go, and I have promotional materials I'm trying to get together for this, which just launched, and War of the Worlds 2030, which is launching next weekend. So.
And he has me bothering me about, so when's the next book in New He's going to come out? So
yes.
Yeah, that's all good.
And my clock says that brings us to the end of our panel.
For more about the works of Stephen B. Pearl, please visit his website at www.stephenpearl.com. That's www.stephenpearl.com for the finest in speculative fiction, ranging from paranormal romance to post-apocalyptic science fiction, modern-day paranormal adventures, touching tales to fill the heart, and stories of passion between people who truly love one another. Thank you for listening.